Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Tanzania is absolutely exploding right now as one of the most attractive investment destinations in all of East and Central Africa. I mean, the opportunities in trade, mining, tourism, and agribusiness, they are literally massive. But setting up shop requires navigating a really highly structured regulatory framework. So today, we're going to demystify that landscape for you step by step.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover 1, the investment landscape, 2, company registration, 3, land, tax, and licensing, 4, statutory compliance, 5, TISA and mega projects, and lastly, how to fast-track your registration.
All right, Section 1, the Tanzanian investment landscape. Now, I've got to ask you a question. With such a booming, lucrative market, why do so many investors just hit a massive regulatory brick wall? You know, you've got the capital, you've got this brilliant business plan, but then suddenly you're facing unexpected penalties, rejected applications, or just massive project setbacks. Why does that happen? Well, this really hits the nail on the head. The answer is simple. It's a lack of practical guidance. It's like a giant puzzle. The laws in Tanzania are actually quite clear, but the way different government institutions interact, it requires a really precise sequence. It's all about knowing how the system works in real-world practice, not just reading it on a piece of paper. Moving right along to Section 2, structuring and company registration. This is where things get interesting. When you're structuring your business, registering a local limited liability company, even if it has 100% foreign shareholders, is a total game changer. It offers vastly more flexibility than setting up a foreign branch. A local company operates directly under Tanzanian law, and that makes everything, licensing, land acquisition, even securing expat work permits, infinitely easier. So, getting that all-important certificate of incorporation boils down to these 4 clear steps through the Brila online portal. It's fully digital, which is great. But hey, here's the kicker. During this process, you absolutely must declare a registered office address. You essentially need a physical location pinned down before your company legally exists, which naturally brings us to our next phase. Okay, Section 3, land, tax, and licensing. Once you officially exist on paper, order is literally everything. Notice this really strict sequence. You cannot, and I mean cannot, get a tax tin without physically verified premises, and you can't get a general business license without that tin. Oh, and if you're in a highly regulated sector, like, say, health or tourism, you're going to need sectoral approval before that final license is ever even issued. And speaking of premises, we really need to wave a massive red flag right here. Foreign individuals cannot just go and buy a plot of land. To acquire land as a foreigner, you absolutely must do so through a locally incorporated company. And crucially, that company has to be registered with TISA for investment purposes. No shortcuts on that one. All right, on to Section 4. Permits and statutory compliance. So, what about you and your team? Your immigration journey follows a very specific timeline. That initial 90-day business visa, that is strictly for exploration. Actually, let me emphasize that. You cannot actively manage your business on it. Once your license is issued, then you transition to a 2-year work permit from the Labor Department, and that is followed by a 2-year residence permit from immigration. And please, beyond immigration, don't forget the statutory compliance. OSHA and WCF registrations are absolute must-haves for workplace safety and injury compensation. Honestly, these aren't just optional extras. Regardless of your headcount, skipping these statutory registrations is pretty much the fastest way to fail a routine surprise inspection and get your operations immediately suspended. Next up, Section 5, TISA and mega projects. Now, for the heavy-duty investments, there is a really clear distinction we need to make. TISA registers long-term capital investments and fixed assets. It's not just for everyday trading. If you're just importing and selling goods, you don't need TISA. But if you're, say, building a factory or a massive commercial farm, then TISA is your most important government partner, for sure. And if you actually qualify for a TISA as a certificate, it grants you formal investor status and unlocks some truly incredible incentives. We're talking major tax exemptions, import duty relief on heavy machinery, priority permit handling, and, as we mentioned earlier, that absolutely crucial legal right to acquire land. It's basically the ultimate key for large-scale foreign capital. Finally, Section 6, fast-track your registration. So, with all these interconnected moving parts, how do you actually fast-track this whole shebang? You avoid the most common regulatory red flags: using a residential property for a commercial business, actively working on a 90-day tourist visa, or starting heavy construction without an environmental impact assessment. Those will trigger massive delays. Remember our golden rule here: out of order means out of time and out of money.
To dodge these traps, this is where MG Empire Consultancy comes in. They are ready to act as your expert local guide. As the publishers of the comprehensive guide that we've based this entire explainer on, they have over 5 years of hands-on experience acting as the bridge between investors and government regulators. They ensure you sequence everything perfectly, affordably, and right on time.
Because at the end of the day, the Tanzanian market offers massive, massive rewards for those who navigate it correctly. Reach out to the experts, follow the roadmap. So, I'll leave you with this. Will you let bureaucratic red tape be the barrier to your success, or will you use this framework to unlock East Africa's most lucrative opportunities today?